One final question, Chris, before we wrap up. The knowledge worker warning. So for somebody listening right now who's a knowledge worker, marketing director, a lawyer, consultant, what should they do in the next 90 days to prepare them for everything that's coming?
So I definitely highly recommend that you sign up on the email list and read my book the first time that whenever it's available, definitely within the next 90 days, because I'll provide a high level here, but the book is like 250 pages and gives you all the context to really understand what's happening, both at the economic level and physiologically. And so the things to realize is that, number one, is that during all of these economic transitions, every institution lags. In the factory worker to transition to knowledge worker, vocational schools were still the most popular thing, even though they weren't teaching knowledge era work, right? So the schools lag behind, just like the colleges and universities are lagging behind now. Corporate culture lags behind. Professional communities lag behind. And the lag is not that they say don't use AI. The lag is that they say keep being a knowledge worker better. That's what the lag is. And those institutions are all built for stability. And at the beginning of their decline, that's when they're the most profitable. So they have no incentive to change, right? Harvard has no incentive to switch from knowledge work to teaching frequency right now. They wouldn't even be able to teach it. They have to train it, right? So they have no incentive to do it. So they're going to keep using knowledge work and bolting on AI or a course around it. So from every angle in the mainstream, you see, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Everyone around me is also doing the right thing. So there's this lag and cultural mainstream that clouds you from seeing what's actually happening. And when that happens, you typically fall into up to 5 different traps. The first trap is trying to learn more. So you go back to school and get an MBA, right? Even though the value of an MBA is declining in a rapid rate, right? You go and take an AI course or something like that. So you try to learn more, even though the premium on learning is going down really fast. You try to work harder, right? Work effort has been the way that you get to where you've wanted to go all before. So when you start seeing declining returns on effort and now 10 hours a day isn't doing it, you bump it up to 12, right? You just keep working harder is another trap that people fall into. The third trap is credentials. So it's sort of in learning more, but it's like that you go back to school, you try to get a different title, even though what the credential certifies is falling in value. The credential certifies knowledge that's falling in value, so it's just a proxy. The fourth one, which is definitely the most deceiving, is the AI augmented version of the trap, which is that you just go all in with AI and you just you learn the tools, you produce as much knowledge work as possible. You got OpenClaw set up, running 100 agents, and what you're doing is just being like Gary, being the best worker of the machine that's going to take their job. And then we have the fifth trap, which is to optimize harder. More product, it's just it's always worked in the past, so it's just more productivity systems, accountability, figuring out how to slot my schedule so I can do 4 meetings in an hour instead of 2, like all this the productivity optimizing hacks. And what you're doing is simply optimizing inside of a game with rules that aren't working anymore. So it's just you're working harder, being more efficient to the wrong destination, more or less. And so to be aware of all of the traps that are set, and these are not just this is not just now. The factory worker had the same type of traps, the same institutional lag. The farmer, back in the 1890s, where they started bringing the machines onto the farm before they used to work with their hands, right? The farmer had the same exact traps, just in a different technological and economic shift. So this is not like a one-time thing. There's been repeated in history for the past 200 years through every modern economic transition. And so to be aware of all that different stuff and to look at the direction that you're going and say, Because what's happened is that fundamentally the rules of the economy are changing and the game is changing. And so if you're looking at it and say, which game am I playing? Am I trying to be a better knowledge worker that uses their conscious mind to make money? Or am I trying to be a better frequency era? I call it a human, right? It's the full capability of a human expressed in this era that the other economies didn't have room for, didn't have the economic driver to value, to fully show up as a human with self-trust, autonomy, vision, all these capabilities that we all have. Are the things that you're doing moving you to that new economic era, just like Gary the factory worker learning how to use their mind to contribute to the economy, or are you doing better at the game that's declining? So I think that's a good way to pose the question for people. And if you're interested in knowing more, like the detail the book goes into is amazing. I'd highly recommend it. It's by far the best piece of professional work I've ever created, and I've created a lot of work. So I'm excited for the impact that it's going to have, not only for the individual, but I think for society. Like I think people see one path here, which is that humans don't have jobs anymore. And I think this is simply the invitation for humans to become even more human. And so what I'm looking at it is that you have artificial intelligence, which can do information processing, pattern recognition, accumulate knowledge. And it's the emergence of human intelligence and this distinction between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. What can't AI do? AI can't have discernment. It can't know what's right for you in this exact situation. It can't be truly creative. It can match patterns in the past, but trust me, I've tried to create something entirely new with AI. It doesn't work. It only knows what's already happened, not what could happen in the future. It can't be visionary. It's only matching historical patterns. Like visionary is looking into the future, imagining something new and then working backwards. AI fundamentally has to just work backwards. And there's many other things to connect deeply with humans, right? Like imagine how much more hollow this would feel if this was a AI hologram of me versus me. It's like I'm bringing my nervous system, my experience, all this type of stuff that will never be replicated by a robot. It's not like it's just going to happen 5 years later. It will never. It's a fundamental limitation of the technology. And so when we look at it that way, then we can say, okay, if AI is taking all this stuff, what isn't it taking? And then focus there, which is basically the case that I'm making.